Today I'd like to cover one more extension or addition to Acumatica that we have created. It's called the stock item extensibility package. And what this allows a merchant to do is to define additional product types that are typically not available in the default install of Acumatica. For example, you can have virtual products, which typically are available in e-commerce store, downloadable products, or you can even have configurable products. An example of a configurable product is, let's say, a shirt or a computer where you're selecting, if it's a shirt, you're selecting the color of the shirt, the material, full sleeve, half sleeve, things like those. Or if it's a computer, you're selecting the CPU size, the hard disk size, and so on. You can also have something called as a grouped product or a bundle product. There are slight differences. An example of a bundle is, let us say you're selecting a computer and you have a choice to pick the CPU, and you can either pick an i3, i7, i5, different CPUs, one of them. So that could be a bundle product. Or you can have a grouped product where a single computer will basically contain the CPU, hard disk, memory, and all of that. So the way we've implemented this customization is, this is your typical stock item that you have within Acumatica. In normal terms, we call these simple stock items. These are individual stock items which basically have a specific inventory ID. And now you have an additional item that we have introduced called a complex stock item. So as I was explaining, a complex stock item could be one of many types, right? So in this particular case, we can either have a grouped product, a configurable product, a bundle product, and so on. So let me just go in and look at an existing configurable product. In a configurable product, I can basically start looking at all the configurable attributes. So in the case of a shirt, it could be the sleeve size. In case of a computer, it could be your CPU, hard disk, and so on. So let me just first go through and create a new record so I can show you all the different options. So we've talked about a configurable product, we talked about a bundle product, we also discussed a downloadable or virtual product and a grouped product. So for each of these, we have we can go in and enter a configurable product right here. And depending on the class that is selected for the product, you will automatically see the attribute list pop up. Now, for this particular class, there are 3 different attributes that we have defined. However, I'm only making 2 of them configurable, which is the CPU and the hard disk, because typically a make in a normal scenario is not a configurable product, right? So what this means is that at the time of placing an order, I can go in and select the type of CPU, the type of hard disk, and then that will narrow my selection down to a single stock item, right? So let me just quickly show you how this is impacted on the sales order screen. So let me go to the sales orders. So in a normal Acumatica instance, what you will see is this is your regular screen. You will have the ability to add an item, which is your regular stock item. Now we've introduced a new button called adding a complex item. So if you click on complex items, I can now select the type of item that I would like to add. So let's go ahead and select the same configurable product. And I'm picking an item. Right now we have one sample item that is defined here. So this automatically shows the configurable attributes. So what you will see here is I can go in and select one of these 3 products based on the attribute values here. So if I'm selecting a hard disk, I can just go ahead and define my value here. I can do the same thing for a CPU, or I can simply go in and select here the product and then say OK. And this will add this particular item to my sales order. So this is no different than a regular stock item, right? So it adds a simple stock item to the sales order screen. The advantage of having this is you're at the point of sale or the telecaller or on the e-commerce store or anywhere else, people don't have to remember all the individual SKU IDs for a stock item. They can say that, well, I want to add a CPU, and then they can go in and select the particular CPU and add it here, right? So let me actually go ahead and show one more example of a grouped product. So let me go to the stock item. And here I'm selecting a grouped product. Okay. So in this particular case, what happens is that a grouped product will contain typically one or more items. So let's say again, this is a grouped product being a server. I will have a CPU, I will also have a hard disk, I will also have memory and other things. So right now we've added two individual elements that are part of this grouped product. So what this means is that when somebody purchases this grouped product, all these individual items are automatically added to the sales order. It's kind of like a kit, but much more simpler, right? So you don't have to go through the kit assembly or anything here. So let me show how this works on a sales order. So if I go to the sales order, I'm going to select my customer again. And I'm going to the complex item screen and selecting a grouped product. And if I select that particular item, automatically these two items that are part of the group are selected and they're marked as selected. And if I go in and click on OK, both these items are automatically added to my sales order. So that's the advantage of having a grouped product. In a bundle product, the difference is that the bundle shows up and you are only selecting one out of the bundle, right? An example of a bundle is selecting the CPU type, and there are different CPU types, let's say an i3, i5, i7. You can only select one of them for a computer. So that would be the example of a bundle. Another important thing that we'd like to cover here is that in the inventory, under the complex stock item, you have the ability to also select virtual or downloadable products, which could be your software, keys, it could be your licenses, even images if you're selling images and so on. However, we have given the option for these two to be either a stock item or a non-stock item, because a virtual product could be a non-stock item. So the example of this is, let's say you have an unlimited amount of software installs that somebody can download. You may want to make it as a non-stock item. But let us say you have a limited amount of inventory, you have a limited amount of license keys, and each license key is to be managed as a stock. Then you would basically create the same virtual product as a stock item, as a complex stock item. So as you can see, this is a very powerful extension to Acumatica, which allows store owners to manage all the various product types that they typically encounter in the industry.